Hi, Stefano here, and you are watching Ploc episode 1.3. And today we learn how to do this. You saw the setup is a little bit different from the previous ones. For the first time, I am in a kind of a studio. I'm gonna use my iPad and draw a little bit to explain this setup. The camera tracks the whole body, not like in episode 1.2. Where it was mostly tracking, I think, this part, like below the screen, and the hands mostly. So if I draw the space, it was somehow like a corner. The camera was, for the first time, in the back. It was actually here, and it was looking in this direction. So it was looking kind of here, okay? And I was moving in this area here, and in front of myself there were 4 objects, and on these 4 objects there were projections, or actually, to be precise, only one projection. So let's say that I'm here, and camera, let's draw it a bit nicer, something like this, and these were the 4 flat objects. The projection was coming from a projector in front and was going something like this. If you imagine that the projector would be here outside of the space, something like this, okay? Going this direction. But it was one whole projection that was mostly black, aside from the spaces where it had to project on these 4 flat objects, okay? So even though you see 4 different projections, we only used one projector. This is something that we could call video mapping. You might have heard of video mapping. It's a technique in which you use projectors to precisely project on objects, architectures, and you project content that relate very, very, very closely to the things you are projecting on. We are, in this case, making a very simple video mapping exercise. It might be maybe the simplest way you can do video mapping, because even though you saw 4 different videos on 4 different objects, again, it's only one projector, and also it's only one video. I would like to underline that these objects that we are projecting on are in front of the performer, or let's say between the performer and the audience. So this is also something you might not see very often. Usually, you get the videos, you get the projections behind the performers. In this case, because they are small objects, I thought why not to distribute them in the space, because anyways, the performer has space in between the objects to move and be visible. Also, the projector here is just placed on the ground, nothing fancy, very easy setup. You might need to see what kind of projector lens you have, if it is wide or not. Dependently from that, you might want to put the projector further away or closer. Mostly just try to fit the objects into the frame of the projector and not having too much space around. When you do that, you're gonna get as much resolution as your projector can give you. Otherwise, if you go too far away with the projection, and let's say you project, let's say this is my projection space, but the objects are only occupying this, and I have a lot of empty, unused video space, then you're gonna use way less resolution, and that's a pity. You should use as much resolution of your projector as possible. Also, I will eventually work on an annex video about projectors and projections. So check in the description below, there might be a link to that projector annex. If it's not there yet, it means that I didn't work on it yet. Beside projections and camera and objects, I also had lights. And the situation is always the same. I had a light somewhere like here, pointing in this direction. And I think the ray was somehow something like this. So it was kind of covering this area here. So it would light me up, not hit the objects because they needed to be projected on. So it's very, very important that the objects are as dark as possible for the projection to be more vivid. And then I think I also had another one also, on the other side, going in this direction. And it was, maybe something like this. And so it would cover me from this other angle. So we said camera was here, looking there. Here we have a light on the side. Here we have another light on the side. I mean, you could also light from top and hit the ground. And of course, also the performer. But of course, you need the infrastructure for that. So like a theater environment, you need a place where you can hang that light. We are keeping things easier here, and light from the side is always a bit more manageable for DIY spaces. So going on, then we had projection in front, on the ground, projecting in that direction on all 4 objects. This, and this. Then I was here, moving around, kind of in this area here. One final thing, which is maybe obvious. I was in a studio. I was using the PA system of the studio, meaning I had like a couple of speakers. If I would imagine making the situation an actual space with the audience, I could imagine that the audience could be here in all this space. Of course, you have to take care that they don't kick your projector. It is very important that projectors are staying still as much as possible, blocked, especially when you're doing projection mapping. And if the audience is there, and we are talking about sound, then I would put, if possible, 1 speaker here and 1 speaker here that project the sound like this. I think I will also work on an annex video about speakers. Actually, for sure. So we can explore a little bit different kind of speakers, cheap speakers, Bluetooth speakers, cabled speakers, all this stuff that are always useful to know. Okay, then we are going to start from the patch of Ploc episode 1.2, so the previous one. Let's talk about the video file. We always work with video files, with pre-recorded video files. So I'm going to show you the file. Here it is. So this is the big video file, which is basically projected virtually everywhere. The way we only see it on the object, it's because in Max we will create some kind of masks that will let through this video only on the objects mapped. Another thing that I used is actually sound. Watery sound. Of course, you saw there is a kind of aesthetic for the video. There are these waves, the sound, you can hear water. The way I move is very wavy, so I kind of had this waves, wobbly, watery theme, okay? So it's important not only to contextualize and connect the media in the space with projection mapping, for example, or of course connect movements with the media, with interaction, but also what kind of movements are you using? What kind of movements are interacting with what kind of media, and how much can you do to put this aesthetic together to make the aesthetic as coherent as possible from the visuals, from the sound, and from the movement point of view. Okay, this video file and also the sound file, I got them from the magic world of the internet. This is the video from user CatMac. It's called Free VJ Loop Cell Pattern Artifact CatMac VJ Loop. It has a license which is Creative Commons Attribution license. So you and me should be allowed to use this piece of media as long as we attribute the author, who is user CatMac. Whenever you need to download something from YouTube, for example, it's always good to just Google for a YouTube downloader website. There are many apps advertised, that you can download and maybe even pay. I just want to have a website like this one, easymdl.com. You paste the URL inside here and it gave me the file of that free loop that I just showed you. I'm not really 100% sure that this is super legal. I guess it depends and it's relative. The important thing is that you check the license of the actual file, okay? And it's good when a file has a license which is Creative Commons. Then I would like to show you where I got the sound. I got the sound from a website called freesound.org. It is one of my favorite websites where you can download and search for any kind of sounds. It is a very old website that has a gigantic community behind, and it's up since decades, I believe. And voila, this is the sound I got. It's called docambience.wav by therunner01. This is the URL if you are interested. And yeah, so if you want to have this precise sound, search for the user and the name of the audio file in freesound.org. One little thing is that for downloading sounds from freesound.org, you need to register. I have registered, I don't know how many decades ago. I have never received an email. They have never bothered me. It's not like a predatory website. It's a very, very useful website and is supported actually by universities. Then I wanted to show you, just because it is relevant in this specific moment, this page here. So Ploc is in here on stefano.alessio.github.io. Also what you find here is this collections page. In here you find, okay, max resources, gamifiable web, but also audio resources. These are more websites where you can find recordings and samples, but also where you can find web-based synthesizers or very interesting sound experiments. But also you have video resources where you have, the usual websites where you can potentially find video samples for free that you can use in your projects. What else do we have? Text resources, for books and papers and PDFs. Or here, this is a CC, like Creative Commons search portal, another way of searching Creative Commons media on the web. Okay, enough blabbering. Let's start with our patch. We said we will start from Ploc 1.2. Here it is. Voila. This is the uploaded version. So if you followed the Ploc 1.2 episode, you know that we haven't used this video here because we have done a specific project with specific content. But the uploaded version of the patch loads these two videos because these are two videos that we all have in our Max library, so that you are able to open the patch and see it working. Now, we will first thing, file, save as. And I will go into 1.3. And this is gonna be 1.3. So we saved it with the new name. We are not afraid of overriding stuff, and that's good. First thing we do is deleting some things. We will delete this part here. Unlock your patch. You should know by now how to unlock your patch, okay? Command click or control click in the background. Select these three objects here. You can leave the outscale because we are going to use it. Delete. Boom. Now, let's load the video file. I will lock the patch, then go into the Pix video loop, but also I just recognized that I should zoom a little bit so you see it better. Here we go into Pix video loop. In here I am going to drop my file from my folders, abstract loop. This is the file, it's occupying the whole window and we are happy. And it also works with the interaction. But as you might have noticed, it does not have sound. So what do we do now? Let's say we have a nice video, but without sound, there's always a layer missing. There's always a little bit of a pity. Let's add the sound, okay? How can we play back sound in Max? Well, let's unlock your patch. Go to the snippet, audio player, ste.audio player. There is also ste.audio player stereo. I'll use the stereo. Because my sound file is stereo and I want to hear it stereo. We are not hearing anything right now because it is not plugged in the output. Let's plug it. I will go down with the volume just for now. It loads a drum loop by default because it's always good to have something loaded and try out. Let's drag and drop the sound file that I got from Freesound. Voila. Now let's hear. Great. Now, sound is playing. It's pretty long sound. It develops, and if you listen through the whole sound, you will also notice that there are different moments. For example, from the middle of the recording on, there is this rumble sound. I think it's the motor of a boat. So I would like to focus on this part here. You can either, highlight it with your cursor, or you can also go around the file with the start and the length values. What I wanted to be sure of is that the sound is continuous, it doesn't change too much, and when it loops, there is no clicky or abrupt sounds. Sounds good. Cool. So sound is done. Nearly done actually, because we can control it interactively. What's happening here in the first inlet of the audio player, we have speed if float, restart if you give it a bang, or parameters that you want to change. So if I plug it like this, it does work, but because we are using the outscale from our previous exercise 1.2, that outscale is inverted. So lock your patch, double click on the outscale, and let's see what happens here. You see, we have the invert toggle turned on. I will turn it off, listen to it again. One thing I had to add, specifically for the situation I had in the room, was a little effect, a video effect, to push up the brightness of the video. This is often necessary with projectors and with spaces that are not full darkness. Now, it's a bit of a debated thing. You need to take care not to push it too much, because if you push it so much that even the dark grays and the blacks start to get bright, that's really not good, because you're just killing your contrast. What you want to do is to push it in a way that the blacks stay black, but the rest of the color range go up a little bit. This is also why it's really, really important when you get a projector to reset it so that all the brightness and contrast settings just go to default. And also never push up the brightness of a projector, because it will just kill your contrast and push the blacks and the darks up, and you're gonna end up with this ugly gray frame. Don't push up brightness of projectors, but we will push up the brightness of our video. How do we do it? So unlock your patch, make a little bit of space here. Actually, this comment will be like this now, because we only have one layer. So you know what? Let's do this better. Let's keep only the text. Let's click on the comment box. Let's go to the inspector, turn on the bubble on the left. Voila, beautiful. Between the 3D layer, which is this plane that displays the video, and the Pix video loop, we will put an effect. It's of course a snippet. Let's go to the snippets. Let's search for bright. There are two snippets called brightness. One is the STE Pix effect brightness, which is the one we want. The other one is the Pix get brightness. We need to get the effect, the FX brightness, okay? One is a video effect, the other one understands the brightness of a video and gives you a value of it. So it's different things. Effect brightness, kill this patch cord, let's go through it, and then forward to the layer. Now, nothing changed, but we have here our brightness snippet, and we see brightness is at 1. If I click put 2, click out, boom, this is way brighter. Maybe it's too much. Let's go 1.5. Maybe, yeah. Also, there is this wrap option that starts doing kind of funny things when you push up the brightness. I wouldn't use it right now, but you know, it's there. It's a funny effect in case you need something a little bit more like pixelated, psychedelic, 70s style. I will turn the wrap off and maybe put this brightness at 1.5, just to push a little bit. Okay, so this is something I needed to do to make my projection a little bit more vivid on the objects. Now let's talk about mapping. The way I mapped those 4 objects was not by having 4 different videos and then positioning them, but having this video that you see kind of all over everything and only doing 4 masks that would let through this video only in the places where the objects were. How do we do that? So generally, the object that you want to use for video mapping is something called corner pin. We have a snippet built on that. Unlock your patch, go to the snippets, corner, st 3D corner pin. Let's drop it. Where do we drop it? Maybe just here. I will also close this and keep this here. So corner pin. Now we drop the corner pin. Everything is black. Oh my God, what happened? This happened. Do this thing. Turn on the handles. Once you turn on the handles, you will see the handles appearing on your output window. You can drag these handles and you see now we have this rectangular shape that we can position with the 4 corners, okay? Take care not to do like weird stuff like that. If this happens, like when your corners kind of flip and everything looks weird, you always can go back to the corner pin snippet. In the center, there is a reset button. And now you can start from scratch. Now let's try to think about this like we are having this window on a projector. Let's say I would put it like, you know, outside of my main screen into the projector space. And then you press ESC to go in full screen. And so you would have the patch on your computer screen, projector attached, and in the projector space, you're gonna have the window, the output window in full screen, okay? When you press ESC, the output window goes in full screen. So let's try to simulate that in our brain, okay? Let's fake that this is on a projector in a room or something. What would be useful is to see this corner pin white and to have nothing else, because I really want to have a very clear visual that gives me the possibility to precisely adapt the position of this corner pin onto the object that I'm projecting on. So what I would do is this: lock your patch, go to the 3D layer of the video loop. So video loop brightness 3D layer. This is the 3D layer that is displaying our wavy video. And on the top right, we turn it off. So now we don't see that. We need something clear here. Okay. Now we have our corner pin here, which is black, and our background is black, so we don't see much. But you see on the lower left corner of the corner pin snippet, here we can turn on this toggle fill, and it will fill with this color here. You can also change it if you want, but I would keep it white. How do I keep it white? Maybe I go like this. So fill and your corner pin will display a solid color. Actually, now we are using the corner pin in this kind of solid color way, but the corner pin is actually done to display videos. So if I want to show you just something irrelevant for now, but useful to know about the corner pin, if you unlock your patch and connect the output of the video loop and put it in the corner pin and turn off the fill, you see, ooh, actually, I can have my video inside the corner pin and have it mapped and stretched. This is, you know, something pretty cool you can do with the corner pin. We will not do this now, though. So let's delete this connection and let's turn on again the fill. So the corner pin is a solid color. Okay, let's think about this is my projection. My projection is pointed at the space with objects inside. The projector goes all over these objects. And you're gonna go there with your cursor and place your little rectangle in a way that it fits with the physical objects, okay? So let's say if this is my projection, I will take this rectangle and make the corners fit to the corners of the object that I'm projecting on, okay? This is how you do mapping in a simple way. Now, I have more objects, okay? I had 4. So what do? We are done with the first. We go in the corner pin snippet. We turn off the handles. Once we turn off the handles, we can't move it with our cursor anymore. And what do? We go to the corner pin. We need to have our patch unlocked, copy paste, and voila, we have a second corner pin now. Now that we have a second corner pin, now I just want to be sure to open the snippet of the second corner pin. So I'm just gonna close the little snippet window, click on the background so I can lock my patch and double click on the second corner pin. I can also recognize there is a second corner pin because it's numbered 1, while the first corner pin has no number. So this is my second corner pin, and be sure that this is your second corner pin. Turn on the handles. Because we copy pasted the previous one, it's on the same place of the first corner pin, and we can move it, and let's move it. Voila. So you see why it is important to be very aware of which corner pin you are moving. And this is also why it's important to switch always off the handles of the corner pin you don't want to move, okay? Otherwise you're getting confused which corner pin is which corner pin. Okay, let's say that I fixed this corner pin on a second rectangular object. I'm happy with that. Handles off. And again, unlock your patch, copy paste. Cool. This will be closed. I'm gonna lock my patch, double click on the third corner pin, which is named 2. Turn on the handles, move it. Move it, move it, move it. Let's do a different shape just for once, for fun. Voila. Let's say that I have an object which is very tall. Handles off. Turn this off. Unlock your patch. Command click, control click on the background. Copy paste the third into a fourth corner pin. Lock the patch. Double click on the fourth corner pin, which is called corner pin 3. Turn on the handles. And let's make a last corner pin placement. Voila! So I have these 4 objects, and these 4 rectangles are perfectly matching the objects in the space, okay? I will turn off the handles of this corner pin, and voila, we have them set. You can see now here in all the corner pins, we can also move the 4 corners with float numbers, okay? This is why these float numbers are very, very, very large, so that you can be very precise. So if you go really on the right side of the float number box with your cursor, you can be very, very precise. You see, can click and drag up and down and move the corner very precisely. This is often useful when sometimes you are projecting somewhere, and when you put your cursor there, you don't find your cursor, you don't know what is happening, but you do see your corner pin, and if you want to move the corner without having to grab them with the cursor, you can do it with float numbers. Especially if you need to be super precise, this is a good way of fine-tuning your corner's position. Okay, let's blend these with our main video. Let's go back to the 3D layer here on the left side, the 3D layer that displays the video loop. Let's go in, so let's double click on it at patch closed. We can now turn it on, and we see that in this case, for me, the video is displayed behind the 4 corner pins. I want to have it in front, and then I'm going to show you how to blend it. Layer, you see on the lower left of the 3D layer, there is the layer option. We talked about this in the last episode, layer ordering, what is displayed in front or in the back. Everything is by default at layer 0, also the corner pins. So if I now put here, click, and I put 1, now my video layer goes in front of the corner pins. Okay, layer 1, corner pins 0. And now blend has to be enabled, and alpha blend, we're gonna change it, and we're gonna select multiply. Ba-ba-da-ba! So now the video multiplies with whatever is behind, which is the white pixels of the corner pins, which act as masks, or the black of the nothing background, which acts as a cut. So basically you create 4 masks with the 4 corner pins because they are white. What else do we miss? I am noticing that here we have some funny things left from the previous patch. I'll put this position X to 0, and I will put the scale to 1, so everything displays correctly. Is this all? Video-wise? Yes. Sound-wise, how is the sound behaving? I'm gonna show you the app that I used to use the iPad as a camera in real time. I am now, if you go into the PixCam, I am now using the webcam of my computer. If I go here and switch to Camo camera, let's see if this works. It does. And it connects to my iPhone. Come on. Which is here. You're watching from here, the iPhone is here. iPhone. What is this Camo camera thing? This is an app that you can use for free. I don't get paid or anything. This is working pretty well and you don't have to pay for it, so that's cool. It is an app that you find, I think, in all platforms like Android and iOS. It is an app that you install on your mobile device. You can also run it on an iPad. And there is also a free companion app for your computer, which is here. And it looks like this. Voila. You can select the device and you can select the resolution. For example, I would actually select something smaller like this because we don't need big resolution. We are only using this camera for the interaction, okay? Frame per second is fine. Actually, the faster the better because we get more responsiveness. Audio setting, actually device none is fine because we are not getting audio from the iPhone. What else? Another thing I did was in overlay and watermarks, by default it comes like this with this little brand overlay. We don't care actually because it's not disturbing the interaction. But if you want, you can create a new overlay which is empty and then you don't have anything. It's more comfy. Plus, it's not relevant now, but you have different options for the camera in real time. I will do probably another annex about camera softwares because it's really useful to know what to do with these softwares, how to deal with your camera, not only which camera do what and what are the cheap options, but also free softwares to deal with these cameras. Okay, but in this case, Camo Studio is getting the camera streamed from my iPhone. Because it streams through Wi-Fi, you need to have the same connection on the computer and on the device. Okay, so now I'm using my home Wi-Fi. It's nothing crazy. Actually, I have a pretty bad modem, and still this works pretty good, and the latency is very little. Because we changed the camera, as usual, what you need to do is to recalibrate your in-scale. So I will do that quickly. So double click on your in-scale to open the in-scale snippet. I will go auto, I will stay still, and I will move. When I'm done, click again the auto button. And now I will try it also with the sound. Now, as a last thing, let's deal with this. If you lock your patch, this looks a little bit better. We have here a big comment from the previous file. I would delete it for now, so unlock your patch, delete this, plop, we don't need it now. I might add another comment for the uploaded version of this specific patch. Here we have our ste.scenes. With this, we can save different scenes or statuses of our patch, so that if you don't have a max license and you open this patch on your computer, you can still load your videos, load your sounds, make your own settings in the patch, and all these attributes, all these options, also the corner pin placement, all these things, what kind of brightness you need, all the values that you have in your patch and you changed, they are gonna be saved, even if you don't have a max license. Let's check that. How to do. We did it already in the previous episode, but let's do this again. First, I'm gonna save this scene. How do you do this? Shift click. Shift click. Boom. We only have one scene, okay? Potentially you can save different versions, different scenes, different mapping. We're not interested in that now. We're only saving one status of the patch. Once this is saved, I'm happy. I'm going to go here and write the name of my scene collection file. For example, my mapping. Once you write my mapping, go here, click on this, and then click on write. Successfully written my mapping.json. Always good to give it a check. Let's check in the same folder where the patch is if the JSON is there. It is there. It is a text file, a JSON file that contains all the values, all the options, all the attributes that you have in your patch, and they are saved. So, really important, next time, if you don't have a max license, you open this patch. If you have saved this, you open the patch and the patch will be at its original save status, so without your videos, without your changes. But what you're gonna do is you go here, you write the name of your JSON file, and then you go here and then you click read. Let's do an experiment. I'm gonna delete stuff. I'm gonna kill this, which is shift option click. So let's say I deleted everything. I'm going to substitute the video. Voila, I'm gonna get the little kid, plop. Now the little kid is going, and let's say I go in the corner pin and I move it a bit. And let's say this is, you open it and it's another situation that you don't want, with another video and stuff. So you go to the file name, you write my mapping, you go on this menu, read, it's red, and the video is running, which is cool. So you see, as long as you don't add or delete the snippets, if the skeleton of the patch stays the same, you can change all the values, all the options, And in this way, you can save them and load them again when you reload the patch. Anyways, I'm gonna have an extra annex video, especially for this ste scene snippet, because it's good not only for, saving the status of your patch, which is very comfortable without a license, but also to save different scenes, so you can make one patch do very different things and jump between statuses or fade between statuses of the same patch. Cool. Now, just as an extra, I'm gonna add some comments here, for example. Well, this is pretty clear. This is a sound player, stereo version. We are controlling its speed. We also want to bubble it left. Voila. Then we have all these corner pins, which I'll copy paste this comment. And these are quads that can be used to map videos or masks in the output window. Cool. So let's zoom back. This is our final patch for 1.3. This was the last mini project we have done with this kind of patch, in which we get the movement from the camera and we apply it to the speed of videos or sound. Next, we're gonna do a new patch with new kind of interaction and new media. So see you then. I hope you have fun with these things, with this projection mapping, with objects in room, in the space, in the real world. And that's all. See you next time. Ciao.